All right, greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara. Once again, we're speaking about a very, very ideal topic for a lot of us. This was a question that we got from one of our adepts, Mathis, and it's a very, very good question. Why does high stress situations, why does it slow down our momentum? Why does it kill and crush our momentum? Okay. Now, if you have been on this channel for a while, I used to talk about this. You're always a moment away from momentum, right? I got it from Kevin Oros for a really long time ago when I had first began like my Enter the Flow Zone podcast. I don't even know if some of you guys know what that is, but this is like from really back in the day. But th this concept of you're always a moment away from momentum is such a powerful shift because it reminds you what is possible. It reminds you that there's so much more that I can do, that always magic around the corner. There's always something to shift, and there's always some solution, right? Whatever is mentionable is manageable, as Fred Rogers would say. So this is a really, really important understanding. When we get this momentum, and it's also seen as moment, and you know how we go, when we don't know what to say, it's kind of like a filler word. Well, I think sounds like om, which is the primordial sound of the universe. And so moment om is a reminder of the om in every moment that keeps stacking, that keeps stacking, that keeps stacking, that keeps stacking, and on and on. Now, when we lose that flow, that stacking ability, you could say, that's when we slow down and crush our momentum, correct? So, yo, Ryan G, let me just share this with the tribe. Okay, forward to adepts as well. All right. So why does high stress kill our momentum? Because stress hijacks our nervous system, right? It's like a crackhead with a steering wheel. You guys get what I mean? It don't care about where you're headed. Fight, flight, freeze, or freak the hell out. It's gunning it. Stress isn't the enemy, though. It's just your body is yelling, do something. But the problem is when you ignore it, when you deny it or drown in it, then your body revs the engine. But the brakes are off and the GPS is drunk. Are we getting this? So momentum is like a rhythm. It's flow, it's coherence between what you feel, what you know, and what you do. That's momentum. It's a coherence. And once these three match, okay, I feel confident. I know certain things, which is amplifying that confidence, and I'm taking the action that's embodying the confidence. Now you actually have a momentum with this task that you're doing, right? Because you've done it so many times, right? That it's second nature to you. So your subconscious mind can come and take over, and there's this unconscious competence, right? That takes over, where you tap into Mushin, ultra instinct, flow state, and so forth. So stress, if it's unregulated, right, it scrambles all of that. It narrows your vision. It dumps adrenaline like a busted faucet, and it diverts blood from your intuition to your calves. The blood goes to the calf muscles so you can run like hell. Okay. So I oftentimes do grounding exercises when it really comes down to this because it's very, very powerful, right? And once we can actually tap into this flow state rhythm, then we can understand that, hey, now my mind is not recycling fear like on a doomsday loop, right? Your gut shuts down, your breath gets shallow when you're stressed, cortisol spikes, and you try to build your empire from that place. Nah, fam. That's not divine execution. That's not discipline. That's just a reaction on steroids, right? But here's the hack. You've got a built-in reset switch, okay? And it's God's own chill mode. You could think of it like that. It's God's own chill mode. It's called your parasympathetic nervous system. And you trigger it. Here's how you trigger it. You trigger it through long, slow exhales. Short, sharp inhales, physiological sigh, right? Like when a baby finishes crying, it sighs. Have you noticed that? That sigh is an emotional sigh. That sigh is a biological wizardry. So double inhale through the nose, hold it, exhale through a sigh. Sometimes I like to press my teeth together and also make this noise. Now, why do I make that noise? Because that's the mother um, soothing the baby to go to sleep, right? The shh. It's a very psychological effect too. So this is why we're doing this, because stress and bursts can be a performance boost, right? Because it sharpens your focus, it kicks the immune system into beast mode. But chronic stress is what we want to avoid. Because chronic stress, I would say that's like soul erosion. You've done so many things to just erode away your own soul. So it grinds down your joy, your memory, your heart, all this kind of stuff. Hey there, sweetheart. So that's what we have to understand. Momentum don't die because of stress. It dies because you didn't honor stress like the signal that it is. But instead, uh, well, instead of dancing with it, you either froze or you let it take the wheel. And that's where you have to understand to breathe deeper, widen our vision, right? Use our panoramic vision to then let the storm pass through you, not become you. So that's how you stay moving even when there's chaos. That's how you keep rhythm in a noisy world. You breathe deep and you widen the vision. And then you become transparent. Like the storm is passing through you, you're not attaching to it. You're not absorbing the emotional material that's being flung at you. You see what I'm saying? So let me tell you something. The biggest plot twist in your spiritual journey ain't going to be when you levitate or when you talk to star beings. It's when you stop being hypnotized by your own damn thoughts. You see, we've been trained like circus monkeys to chase every idea that pops into our skulls like it's gospel. But here's the heresy. They ain't you. That mind of yours is a great tool, but a terrible landlord. And you leave it unchecked, and it'll build a tenement of recycled trauma and call it reality. So most people are out here living like it's Groundhog Day. Same thoughts, same feelings, different faces. Why? Because they're addicted to the familiar noise of yesterday, even if it's painful. It's known, it's safe, and it's still home. But high vibrational living, it doesn't mean spamming love and light affirmations like a broken record. It means thinking less, actually. That's high vibrational living. Thinking less. Less damn thoughts. Not smarter thoughts, less thoughts. And if you want to raise your frequency, you create space. You stop reacting, you start observing. Okay, I feel this something in the pit of my stomach. Okay, I feel this tension in my ears and it's heating up. Okay, I feel this random buzz on the top of my head, right? Whatever it is, you allow yourself to start observing it without judging it. Oh, this is my anxiety acting up again. Oh, this is my IBS. Oh, this is my other thing that I have wrong with me. Oh, by the way, did I mention that thing on my foot? Right? You start becoming like that when you're living in stress because you want to justify your story, right? You want to justify it. But if you start thinking less, you think only the most exceptional thoughts. That's how I think about it. Okay. You think exceptional, brilliant. stoic, aligned thoughts, flow state thoughts, right? Low vibe is like a traffic jam in your head. Guilt, fear, shame, bumper to bumper thoughts. But high vibration is an open road, no speed limits, right? No speed limits, just presence. You ever felt real love, real joy, real peace? I bet you weren't thinking much. I bet you weren't thinking much. I bet you were just there, breathing, feeling, and being. And that's what we call the flow state. God is driving the vehicle now, not your monkey mind jerking the wheel every 5 seconds. So I want you guys, especially the adepts, to become a damn gatekeeper of your thoughts. Audit your environment like a spiritual accountant would. Who and what is junking up my field with this negativity? And it's normal to stop and start, right, guys? That's just a human tendency to stop and start. So take breaks, meditate, go outside, but shut up inside. Quit making your entire life about fixing the past or fantasizing about the future, because that is going to slow down your momentum. And remember, thinking, overthinking, lots of thoughts is a survival mechanism. We evolved it to avoid saber-toothed tigers. But nowadays, that same thinking's got you dodging your own growth like it's a predator. So you don't need more thoughts, you need cleaner energy. You need space. That's where creation happens. That's where synchronicity lands, right? That's when the real magic hits you. And the most powerful relationship with your life is how you relate to your own thinking, period. The moment you realize you are not your thoughts, you're just the one watching them float by like clouds in the sky, that's when your life starts moving from stress to sacred. Okay? So the mind is a slippery little trickster gnome, isn't it? Right? One of the biggest spiritual upgrades you'll ever get in your life isn't some third eye glow up or some wild astral trip. It's when you stop letting your thoughts punk you into believing they're you. You see, most people are stuck on this autopilot, same recycled loops, low-grade emotions, same familiar misery dressed in new faces. And they're calling it their reality. You attract what you habitually think and feel, and most of the time that's just stale leftovers from yesterday. So I call it like mental constipation. That's exactly what it is, right? You know when your brain farts, right? When you can't think, you're just like, and we call it such a negative state, not thinking. Like, are you an idiot? Are you stupid? Are you ignorant? Are you this? Are you that? No, it's none of that, actually. I'm just not reactive. I'm just not feeding into the drama. You attract what you habitually think and feel. So raising your vibration isn't about thinking happier thoughts or forcing love and light fluff. It's about thinking less and observing more. Low vibration equals too much damn thinking. That's what low vibration is. It's too much static, overthinking, rehashing the same concepts, comparing to others, stressing out about the comparisons, right? Trying to solve things in your head that were meant to be surrendered in your heart. And then you enter the high vibrational field, and it's like, boom, now there's space to move. Oh, I have room to breathe. I can finally breathe, right? That energy, room to feel, room to breathe. I've been listening to this binaural for oxygen. Okay, straight up, right? I gave it to Ellie too. I gave it to, I think Ryan G. I might have sent it to you too. Well, that oxygen sound file, man. I think we all need it. I think we all need to breathe deeper and relax. Have you ever been in love, so in awe, so present that you forgot time? That's the secret, right? Most of you are revving the engine all day, RPMs maxed out, nervous system fried, wondering why life isn't flowing. It's simple. Too much inner noise, not enough sacred silence. So the real flex becomes becoming the gatekeeper of your own damn mind. You audit what you watch, who you hang out with, what you let echo inside the skull of yours. Because thought forms linger, especially the sticky, shadowy ones. And also energy is contagious, right? You link up with someone drowning in negativity, and guess what? Their thought field starts clinging to yours like smoke on fabric. So if you want to vibrate higher, you got to start by building space between you and your thoughts. Let them pass by like traffic, right? You don't zoom into the traffic like, oh, that car's really cool. Oh, yeah, that's really nice, right? And you start objectifying it, you start personalizing it, and you start, now you're just stuck in the road rage that's going on down there. Your mind is zoomed into this one thing, right? And this is the cocktail party effect, right? When we walk to a party, we can sometimes overhear different conversations where we put our focus, right? It's like if I choose to eavesdrop on that group over there in a corner talking amongst themselves, I can do that using my mind, right? I place my intention over there. So now my consciousness is actually expanded because I'm focusing on something outside of me. This is why people who are too self-conscious, they're not building enough, harnessing enough energy, right? So all the energy is just internally inside of them. And it's chaos, and then it manifests chaos. So once you calm your breathing and you understand I'm safe no matter what, that energy is contagious, my friend, right? The positive energies are contagious, so is the negative thoughts. So that's the thing. You are not the storm, but the damn sky. Thinking is a survival tool. We evolved it to not get eaten. But now most folks are still in survival mode, overthinking themselves into a negative reality in the mind. So it's time to evolve past that, actually. It's time to evolve past that because creation doesn't happen in the noise, it happens in the stillness, right? That's why real growth happens after the gym, after the grind, in the rest. Muscles grow in the recovery. So does your spirit. Same with inspiration. You don't force inspiration, right? You make space for it. You block out time for it. And if you still want goals, that's cool. But just don't chase goals like a junkie chasing his next fix. Let them emerge from your clarity, not your desperation. So your most important relationship, like I said, is with your own thinking. Get that part right, you'll start surviving life and start channeling it. So let me draw this out right here, the three circles of power, okay? I think the Stoics also knew this very well. Well, actually, a lot of pathworkers knew the Taoists, the Stoics, everybody kind of understood this concept, okay? So this is your inner circle. This is the middle circle, the stretch zone, and of course, the chaos or the panic zone would be the outer circle, okay? So this inner circle, that's your temple. This is what you can control. Okay, so your breathing, your schedule, your rituals, your output, the posture you carry, the way you speak to yourself before the world speaks to you. Okay, all of that is what you can control. Now, this is a zone for influence. Let's call it influence. Okay? So this is the zone of influence. That's where your presence can tilt the field, but not guarantee the win. Relationships, collaborations, perhaps, right? The energy radiate into systems and people. So in this field, you think persuasion, not domination, right? You're being persuasive, you're being influential, right? You're leveraging the situations in your life. So this is where you're reframing, this is where you're finding out how your energy interacts with others, right? Well, that's the middle circle. It's kind of like a stretch zone. Think about it, right? Now, the outer circle, this outer circle, that's not in your control. This is the realm of surrender, this outer circle. Okay. Surrender and discipline creates flow state. Yes, that's the surrender. That you need to surrender this and you have the discipline to focus on this. Are we getting this? Yes. So the outer circle is chaos. It's the algorithm, it's the weather, it's other people's decisions and opinions, it's delays, it's ghosted messages, it's bankruptcy. It's the passive challenge that the world gives you, not the active challenges that you're creating for yourself. And most anxiety comes from gripping that outer circle like it owes you clarity, right? But clarity doesn't come from grasping. It comes from anchoring deep in the inner. So if you're job hunting, let's say you're relationship waiting, or you're praying for funding, or hoping for any divine callback, shift from doom, which is the outer circle, into direction. Track how many emails you sent today. Refine how you show up, not who shows up for you. Right? Power doesn't vanish in uncertainty, it relocates, remember. Always back in your hands, your breath, your body. What can you do right now? That's mindfulness. What can you do right now? What can you experience right now? What can you see? What can you hear? What can you touch? So here's the invitation. Write it out like this, right? Notice the things that you can influence. Notice what you can control. Add some of your own in here, right? Draw out the outer circle. Just think about it. Place your worries where they belong in the outer circle, right? And then decide to cut out other options, right? But acting boldly from the center point. This is where momentum really begins. This is where momentum really begins. This is where momentum really begins, okay? So I hope that gave you a better understanding of this because, well, actually, I want to share something else. Let me just show you this as well. Okay, let me see if I can find this. I've talked about this in maybe previous videos, but I think this is a good one to really understand. Okay. Okay. So this is the Yerkes-Dodson law. Okay. In 1908, there's this guy, Yerkes and John Dodson. They made this game-changing discovery that there's a sweet spot between too much stress and not enough stimulation. And it directly affects your performance, your focus, and your ability to follow through on things. So this is really the why of why the high stress kills our momentum. So a little bit of stress, right, It's good. It gives us a sharp focus, right? A motivation, an energy boost. Too little stress, and we start getting bored, man. We start getting so bored, right? It's like life isn't challenging you. So what? Boredom, laziness, complacency, apathy, right? And you feel even more in that resistance, right? I don't wanna get up. I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna go there. I don't wanna do that, right? Too little stress puts you in this kind of mood of I'd rather just chill. Now, too much stress feels like overwhelm, anxiety, burnout, breakdown, right? So this is an inverted U curve, right? Whereas optimal stress, this is peak performance, guys, right? So this is between our performance and our stress levels. So notice how when we're performing really good, we are still fatigued, but we're not exhausted, right? So this is a very good example, I think, because here are some examples that I can give in real life. Like, let's say a student with zero pressure for his exams starts studying. That broski is going to procrastinate endlessly because he has zero pressure. So what? His parents aren't pushing him, his teachers aren't pushing him, he isn't motivating himself. What the fuck's he going to do? Right? He has to give himself pressure. He has to imagine there's a gun to his head and he has to do this assignment. He has to put himself into more pressure cooker situations. Are we getting this? So a student with crippling pressure, he has so many books he's reading, so much podcasts he's listening to, overburdened in his mind. He might freeze during the exam. I don't know how to answer this, right? But a student with a moderate challenge and purpose, who shows up focused, who's engaged, he ate the day before, so he's very energized, he's flowing, right? And this applies to spiritual seekers, founders, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, everybody, right? So what regulates this sweet spot, like I said, it's your autonomic nervous system, especially the sympathetic, which is stress and activation, and parasympathetic, the calm recovery branches. So you need enough, just enough sympathetic arousal to activate the dopamine, the adrenaline, the focus, right? But not so much the cortisol. The cortisol then floods your system and hijacks your executive function. And what is momentum or flow state is riding this curve, right? And you can catch the wave to the top of this peak performance. It's just a little bit of stress, and you know when it's too much stress and you're feeling exhausted, and you got to kind of zoom out, back off, breathe deeper, right? In the gym, you don't go for one set and then another set and then another set and then another set and then another set without breaks. You're going to be exhausted. You haven't given your muscle enough time to even feel that tension or pressure. You're just going bah, 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 and you're banging out these workouts without taking a little bit of a 30-second gap or a minute gap or 2 minute, however long you need. Usually people just look at their phones in the gym whenever I go. So I feel good going to the gym at times, okay? Seems like I'm the only one just fucking focusing on the workouts. Everybody else is, or maybe that's just a projection from my side too. That could be a projection from my side too. I'm not denying that, right? But again, alerts but not frantic, stimulated but not flooded. You're stretched but not snapped. This is where the magic happens. So how do you apply this Yerkes-Dodson law in your own life? You recognize your baseline. Are you overstimulated? Are you understimulated or overstressed, I would say. Let's write these out. Okay? Then I'd say, what is the actual challenge that you're going through? What is the task, right? Dial in on your challenge. That means push the edge, but don't go past your breaking point. And you got to recover like a pro. So that means you got to know when you're going into burnout. Rest, breath work, nature, taking naps, power naps are great. Okay. And using the stress intentionally because it's not your enemy, it's your signal to adjust the dial. Okay. I'm going to find another diagram for you guys. As the stress increases, right, from low to moderate, so does performance. Okay? So eustress, you have to be between eustress and de-stress. This line is up optimal levels of performance. So eustress is positive stress, focused attention. It gives us emotional balance, rational thinking, right? Now, too little stress is impaired attention, boredom, like I said, confusion about the subject, apathy, just like I don't want to do it, right? But then too much stress is an excitement, a burnout, disorganized behavior starts emerging. There's an impaired selectivity in the mind, right? Things like this. So this is how we want to understand these two modes of being. It's very good to be in eustress, not so good to be in de-stress. Now, this is from the same Yerkes-Dodson law that they got this, guys. So optimal stress or eustress is where performance is optimized, right? It's a sweet spot where you're motivated, focused, energized, you accomplish tasks effectively, like the stress of prepping for an exam when you've studied well, or the excitement of starting a new project, okay? But de-stress is beyond the optimal point. It starts to impair your performance. This is where stress becomes overwhelming and leads to negative effects in both physical and mental well-being. Okay? So remember, stress isn't bad, it's just a tool. Too little, you decay, too much, and you break. So stay right in the middle. We're the middle path, you transform. Okay? You transform. You don't conform, transform. Most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they interrupt their own momentum. They start, they stop, they second guess, then switch to something shinier, then repeat. And each pause doesn't just delay the result, it fractures the rhythm of becoming. So momentum isn't just a movement, it's an energetic compounding, you could see it as, right? So it's the unseen force that builds velocity inside you, actually. And the tragedy is most people keep mistaking dabbling for doing, right? They dip their toes in the fire, but they never stay long enough to let their passion ignite into purpose. But what they don't realize is this. Every time you hesitate, you hemorrhage self-trust. Every time you pause unnecessarily, you weaken the charge that was building within you. And every time you wobble, you tell the universe, I'm not ready to carry this through. Of course, rest has its place, but delay without intention is self-sabotage in slow motion. You think taking breaks preserves energy, but taking the wrong kind of breaks, they steal more than they give. Because restarting from zero is always harder than riding the wave you've already built, correct? Can I get 9 man? Okay. So here's the shift. Stop being the person who half writes books, half starts projects, half shows up to their vision. Because I've been that man. Fuck that guy. Really though. Really though, I've done it before. I won't do it again. I'm going to complete the task, okay? Even if I have to push it on the shoulders of others. I will take that responsibility on myself. It's not from perfectionism, it's just out of respect for the flow. So start being the one who commits daily. I commit daily to these videos. Execute, not for external applause, but for because you deserve the inner peace that only finished work brings. Momentum is not pressure, it's power. And when you move with it, life starts moving for you. So stop waddling around, dabbling, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay. And really stop hitting pause on the version of you that already knows how to carry this through. Okay. Get it done, not just to be productive, but to be free. You think stress is about working too hard? No. Stress is a spirit that slips in when you know what you should do, but you sit on your ass instead. It's the soul rot that grows in the gap between your clarity and your cowardice. It's the crushing weight of unclaimed power. Hard work never broke anybody, but hesitation, cortisol, indecision, that'll strangle your life force faster than burnout ever could. Let me tell you the truth that most people won't say. Anxiety is just a decision that's backed up in your gut. That's right. It's the spirit of momentum you denied. You saw the path, you knew the move, I have to call this out, and you didn't pull the damn trigger. So now your nervous system is glitching because you betrayed your own clarity. And everyone wants to talk about momentum like it's some divine flow state unicorn, it only shows up in moons in Virgo or when your playlist hits the right frequency. Bullshit. Momentum is just doing what you said you do over and over and over and over and over again without whining, without waiting for the mood, without checking how many likes you get on the last thing you made. You want flow, then make a decision. You want fire, make another decision. You want to build that momentum from a fire into something else, you stack your decisions like spells daily, unapologetically, and in alignment with your own soul. Don't do a task if it's not aligning with you, right? I do breath work that aligns with my body's natural system. I'm not forcing some random breath work that I learned from some breathwork facilitator. Okay, so start listening to your own body. Stop craving a diet from some nutritionist that gave it to you plain and blank. Start creating your nutrition based on what your body really needs. And you have the intuition that you built, right? To understand your body. And you speak to your body in that way. So stop romanticizing inertia like it's self-care. It's not self-care if it's self-deception. You're not recharging, you're hiding. Some of you are not waiting for a sign, you're ignoring the 10 signs that already smacked you in the face. And you think you need another coach. I need another system. Oh, I need some permission slip to start again. No, you need a spine. You need a backbone. You need the willingness to make it move before you feel ready. Because that's the savage truth. Momentum doesn't just visit the passive, it serves the initiators. So the next time you feel anxious, overwhelmed, stuck, don't go journal about it for 3 hours or watch another productivity procrastination video. Don't go smudge the house for the third time this week. Make a damn decision. Move the energy, commit, act, and watch the nervous system pressure leave your body like a spirit that you just released. You don't need more time. People keep telling me time is such a valuable resource. Time is so precious. Time is this time. You need more nerve. You need to stop choking on your own power. Momentum is ritual. It's sacred. It's medicine. Now go take your next breath like it's a drum beat. And then hit that next move like your soul's on the line because it is. If you want to stop drowning in stress, then stop treating it like some mysterious beast and start owning it like the animal it is. Stress isn't your enemy. It's a signal. It summons. It's life testing whether you'll freeze like prey or breathe like a beast. Who knows the jungle's rhythm? Remember, we were in Jumanji June. Now we're in Jewel July. Let me break it down with fire in my voice. Read it like you mean it. Because when the chaos hits, your body forgets. It goes shallow. Your breath becomes the Google Translate. Panic creeps in. You stop breathing. You ain't even in your body. You're floating head in a storm, screaming at shadows. So drop the shoulders, loosen the jaw, and send your breath down to your belly like you're stalking a sacred fire. That's how you anchor your spirit back into the moment. You're always a moment away from momentum. Because no matter what's happening outside you, if your breath is steady, your soul is untouchable. So flip the meaning, hack the damn narrative. Stress isn't about the event that's happening, it's about the story you wrapped around the event that's happening, right? I explain this a lot, but this is really easy to explain. So let's say there's a fact. My friend isn't texting me back because he doesn't like me. My friend, okay, now you just made a negative, what did you make? A negative assumption about that fact. And then it starts to grow. And then you're like trying to judge yourself based on this assumption, on this fact. And then you start feeling guilty. And then you start feeling sad because of the guilt. You see how these emotions are stacking? This is the opposite of momentum right now. This is where you're building the panic more and more. But what if you just said, no, just focus on what's real? Fuck these fantasies that my mind creates. I'm going to focus on what's real right now. And I'm not going to make a negative assumption. I'm going to make a positive assumption. And that's going to stack out instead. And that's the law of assumption, Neville Goddard. Okay? So you flip the meaning. Something goes sideways, you panic, and your thoughts scream, this is terrible. It's all collapsing. The world is collapsing around me. Nothing will ever work my way. That's your ancient brain. That's your survival wiring, trying to predict death from a bounced invoice or an awkward email. So you pause and breathe. Then you whisper to your own nervous system, this is not bad. This is training. This is initiation. What's beautiful about this? What's the gift here? What's the lesson? What will this version of me earn through this? That's how you alchemize the cortisol into clarity. You speak to it. You speak to that cortisol monster. How does it look in your mind? Is it grotesque? Does it have fangs? Does it have like giant ears? Give it an image, right? Like that gremlin that showed up in Ryan G's dream, right? Like that. Give it an image. Summon the hormone of the alchemist, gratitude. Gratitude isn't this fluffy, thing. It's biochemical warfare. Cortisol makes you stupid, fat, and afraid. I'm afraid. Okay? It makes you stupid, fat, and afraid. That's just the science. It's not me. I ain't talking shit about it, right? It's what the science shows you over and over again. Cortisol, the stress hormone, makes you stupid, fat, and afraid. But gratitude, that shit is like DHEA fuel. It's a real hormone. Real magic happens there. It bathes your body in resilience. It sharpens your immune system. It rewires your perception. But don't fake it. This ain't Hallmark therapy. You got to extract the gold from the darkness. What did this teach me? How will this serve me down the road? Where's the wisdom pearl and the discomfort, right? All of that. Then when you find it, not only does your mind stay calm, your cells also start to transform. And then you're not a statue, remember. You got to physically move. Just move. You're an animal. So move like one, shake like one, stretch like one, walk, run, get that DHEA surging through your bloodstream. Move with gratitude, like it's ancient thunder running through your bloodstream. You don't heal stress by thinking about stress. You heal it by getting primal, getting conscious, moving your energy through your damn bones, right? This work goes against your primal wiring. That's the thing. Everything in your evolutionary coding will scream to you freeze, panic, control, collapse. But if you want freedom, not fear, grace, not grind, wisdom, not wounds, then you've got to override the primitive mind. You've got to become the architect of meaning, the alchemist of your own physiology, the wild breathing force who bends discomfort into sacred fuel for you. Because on the other side of that tension and stress is a power, it's a presence, is a peace that's so grounded nothing can shake it. And that's the price of entry. And if you're ready to pay it, then breathe, move, and flip the damn script. This has been Uncle Makara. I hope this has helped you out today. And I hope you learn a lot with how you can amplify these tools in your arsenal today. Thank you so much for tapping in. By the way, this is one of the locas. Okay, I don't know if you remember it from my video. It's one of the locas made in my background. Have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. You got this. We got this. Upward Spiral Gang. Thank you guys. Peace.